Talking about the future of journalism, you started a debate here about constructive journalism. What is constructive journalism?
Constructive journalism is pretty much a way of thinking. Thinking that we should try not to be tabloid in the way we view our profession. Being a tabloid journalist is a journalist who think that the main reason you're here is to entertain people, to attract viewers or readers by any means, and you do that by angling all your stories on conflict and drama and crooks and victims. It's always the little guy against the system and so. And there's nothing. I'm not against those criteria, but I'm against using only those criteria. I think we have to, of course, address problems facing society, but I think constructive journalism try to add another point to that and try to say a good story doesn't have to be a bad story. A good story can also be a good story, a story that can inspire the rest of us to find better solutions to the problems facing society.
Is it a specific thing for public broadcasting, or is it a general trend?
I think it's general. There's a lot of public service for private money going out there, and it's getting tougher and tougher as the financial crisis goes on, and people don't want to pay for subscription or advertising moves away. So that's why it's the easiest place to start it is public broadcasting, because we get the money because we force people to pay. But the problem is, if we go on doing what we have done for the last years, we become more and more commercialized in the way we are thinking our news, and that's not why people are paying us. So we have to refocus and rethink our profession and rethink the way we address our job as news reporters and newsrooms, and also asking the questions, how do we best benefit the societies we are here to serve? And I'm afraid that we are not serving the society in the best way, the way we're angling our stories.
I was just wondering what you tell your staff in-house. I mean, journalists have come up with this tradition of conflict, of drama.
And so have I, as so have you, as any journalist. It runs in our veins, almost in our DNA. So that's why it's so difficult for us to change. But the first, when you talk to journalists about that, they're very critical, because a good journalist is critical. And he will start asking, is this because you want to paint a more positive picture of the world, because you are conservative, or you want to, I don't know, paint do stories about above the sky, the clouds, the sky is always blue, stupid stories like that? Or should we help companies to sell more products? Is that it? Are you talking about positive stories? I mean, is that it? And I think that is not it. We should still be critical, and we should maybe be even more critical than we are, but not only being that. Focusing on the problems, but then adding a new thing, going out in the world, finding places in the world where they have faced the same kind of problems, and figuring out what can we learn from what they have done. And what you realize is people start debating that. They debate examples of solutions. Then you can debate, is that a good idea? Would it work here or not? Or could we angle it a little more? If you don't do it, you just take one problem here and you tell about that, and 3 minutes later you tell about another fucking problem, and then another problem, and another problem, and then people end up being depressed. And the consequence of being depressed is that you lean back and you don't want it more, and you switch channel, and you find a channel that shows soccer matches or Paradise Hotel or whatever other thing that is only entertaining. That is very bad for society. It's very bad for democracy. And I'm actually very worried that if we don't change, we actually are letting down the society and the democracy we are actually here to serve. So that's why I think it's so very important that we help each other to develop our news journalism.
So there is hope for journalism then?
Of course there is hope for journalism. It's still the most important profession in a democracy. But the way we handle it, and has handled it for the last 25 years, we're not doing a very good job, and we have to refocus that. Not for our sake, but also for our sake. But mostly for society.